As she sat watching the world go by, something caught her eye. It wasn't so much its color or shape, but the way it was moving. She squinted to see if she could better understand what it was and where it was going, but it didn't help. As she continued to stare into the distance, she didn't understand why this uneasiness was building inside her body. When God calls a man, he sets him apart. He pulls him from the crowd, removes him from the familiar, and leads him into a place of solitude. This is not accidental. This is not the unfortunate byproduct of choosing the narrow way. It is intentional. It is necessary. It is divine. Because before God can use a man, he must first separate him. Look through the pages of Scripture and you will find a pattern, one that is undeniable and inescapable. The chosen ones, the ones whom God sets his hand upon, are always the ones he leads into isolation. Abraham was called out from his homeland, away from his family, into a place he did not know. Moses was driven into the wilderness for 40 years before he ever stood before Pharaoh. David was anointed king, yet spent years hiding in caves, running for his life. Even Christ himself, after his baptism, was led by the Spirit, not into a palace, not into a place of immediate ministry, but into the wilderness, into fasting, into temptation. Why? Because before a man can stand before others, he must first learn to stand alone with God. Before a man can lead, he must first be stripped of everything that makes him trust in himself. God does not call a man and then leave him where he is. He pulls him out. He separates him. And often that separation feels like rejection. It feels like loneliness. It feels like being cast aside. Some of you have felt this. You have wondered why you do not fit in. You have asked why the friendships you once cherished have grown distant. You have seen doors close, opportunities vanish, relationships fade. You have asked, God, why? And I tell you, it is because he is pulling you away. He is drawing you into himself. He is cutting the ties that keep you bound to the things of this world because he has something greater for you, himself. The chosen are lonely because they are called to a different path. The world is walking in one direction and God is leading his own in another. It is not a path of ease. It is not a path of popularity. It is a path of refinement, of sanctification, of intimacy with the Almighty. You cannot walk with God and run with the world. You cannot be his and be everyone else's. Light has no fellowship with darkness, and so he will separate you. Do not fight it. Do not resist it. Do not try to force yourself back into places where God has removed you. If he has led you out, it is for your good. Some of you are grieving over lost friendships, over people who have walked away, over relationships that have ended. But have you considered that maybe, just maybe, God removed them? That in his mercy he cut you off from those who would only hold you back? You are not called to be like them. You are not called to seek what they seek, to love what they love, to chase what they chase. You are called to holiness. You are called to something different, and different is lonely. Different is misunderstood. Different is set apart. And I tell you, this separation is not just from people. It is from everything that competes with him. God will strip away your idols one by one. He will take the things that distract you, the things that entangle you, the things that keep you from being fully his. It will feel like loss, but it is mercy, because he is not satisfied with a divided heart. He is not content with partial devotion. He wants all of you. Some of you have been pleading with God, asking why things are being taken from you, why the things you once leaned on are crumbling. And I tell you, it is because he is jealous for you. He loves you too much to share you with lesser things. If he must strip you down to nothing so that he alone is your everything, he will do it. And it is grace. You see, the world does not understand this. They think blessing is ease. They think calling is comfort. They think being chosen means being celebrated. But that is not the way of the cross. That is not the way of those whom God sets apart. To be chosen by God is to be set on a path that few will walk. To be called is to be consecrated, to be drawn into a place where no one else may go with you. Consider Christ. He was beloved by the Father, yet rejected by men. He was the very Son of God, yet despised, mocked, forsaken. If they hated him, they will hate you. If they rejected him, they will reject you. Do not be surprised when the world does not embrace you. Do not be shocked when you feel alone. It is the mark of the chosen. It is the evidence that you are His. But listen to me. Though you may be lonely, you are not alone. Though you may be rejected by the world, you are accepted by the one who matters. Though you may feel forsaken, the one who called you has never left you. He walks with you in the solitude. He meets you in the secret place. He reveals Himself in ways that those who walk the broad road will never know. This world will never satisfy you. It will never fulfill you. The applause of men will fade. The approval of people will change. But Christ is unshakable. Christ is enough. Christ is all. So do not fear the loneliness. Do not despise the separation. Do not grieve what God has removed. Because in the end, He is your reward. He is the prize. And there's no greater calling, no higher honor, no deeper joy than to be His. It is better to walk alone with God than to run with a crowd that does not know Him. As she sat watching the world go by, something caught her eye. It wasn't so much its color or shape, but the way it was moving. She squinted to see if she could better understand what it was and where it was going, but it didn't help. As she continued to stare into the distance, she didn't understand why this uneasiness was building inside her body. A man cannot truly serve God until he has been broken. That is not the message you hear in most places today. People talk about victory, about power, about destiny, but they do not speak of brokenness. They do not speak of the crushing. They do not speak of the wilderness that every chosen one must walk through. But I tell you, God does not use the strong. He does not use the self-sufficient. He does not use those who think they have everything figured out. He uses the weak, the shattered, the ones who have come to the end of themselves. Because only in that place can He truly be their strength. Look at the men and women throughout Scripture whom God used mightily, and you will find a common thread. They were broken, they were emptied, they were stripped of all self-reliance. Jacob wrestled with God and walked away limping. Job lost everything, his wealth, his health, his family, until all he had left was God. Joseph was thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, and forgotten in prison before he was ever raised to a position of authority. Paul, a man of great intellect and zeal, was blinded on the road to Damascus and later given a thorn in his flesh to keep him humble. And even Christ Himself, the perfect Son of God, was not exempt. He was crushed, He was afflicted, He was a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. Do you understand this? If the very Son of God was led into suffering, into agony, into the breaking of His body and the pouring out of His soul, do you think you will escape? Do you think God will use you without first breaking you? Some of you have been pleading with God, asking why the trials are so severe, why the suffering is so relentless. You have cried out, God, why are you allowing this? And I tell you, it is because He is making you into something you could never be on your own. He is stripping away everything that hinders. He is removing every ounce of pride, every illusion of control, every false security, because as long as you still have strength in yourself, you will never fully rely on His. God will take you to the point where you have nothing left but Him, and that is the most merciful thing He can do. Some of you think your trials are the enemy trying to destroy you, but what if they are God trying to deliver you? What if the pain is not an attack but a surgery? What if the breaking is not punishment but preparation? What if He is crushing you so that His fragrance may be poured out of you? Think of the olive press. The oil does not flow until the olive is crushed. Think of the perfume. The fragrance does not come forth until the flower is broken. This is how God works. He takes a man and He breaks him so that His glory may shine through. And though it hurts, though it feels unbearable, it is not meaningless. It is not wasted. It is not for nothing. Some of you have been through loss that you cannot understand. You have watched your dreams crumble. You have walked through seasons where it felt like God had abandoned you. But listen to me. God has never abandoned His own. He is near to the brokenhearted. He saves those who are crushed in spirit. And if you belong to Him, then every trial, every tear, every hardship is forming you into the image of His Son. There are things in you that cannot stay if you are going to be used by God. There is pride that must be crushed. There is self-reliance that must be stripped away. There are impurities that must be burned out in the fire of affliction. And so He takes you through suffering, not because He hates you, but because He loves you too much to leave you as you are. Do you know what the greatest danger is? It is not suffering, it is success. It is comfort. It is thinking you have no need. That is why God must break his servants before he can use them. That is why he allows them to taste sorrow, to walk through valleys, to endure hardship, because he will not share his glory. He will not allow a man to stand in his own strength and think that it is enough. And so he breaks, he wounds, he allows affliction. But hear me, it is not to destroy, it is to rebuild. It is to remake. It is to bring you to the place where your only boast is in him. The world does not understand this. They think power is found in self-confidence, in ambition, in self-promotion. But the power of God is found in surrender. The power of God is found in weakness. The power of God is found in the one who has nothing left but him. Some of you have tried to escape this breaking. You have fought against it. You have resisted. But I tell you, surrender. Stop running. Stop trying to hold on to what God is trying to remove. Let him do his work. Let him break you so that he can use you. Because the greatest vessel in the hands of God is the one that has been shattered and remade by him. The world will tell you to avoid suffering. They will tell you that brokenness is a curse, but I tell you it is a gift. It is the evidence that God is working in you, preparing you, molding you. And when you come out of it, when the refining is done, you will know your strength was never enough, but his was always more than sufficient. So do not despise the breaking. Do not resist the crushing, because in the hands of God, your wounds will become the very place his glory shines the brightest. It is better to be broken in the hands of God than to be whole without him. As she sat watching the world go by, something caught her eye. It wasn't so much its color or shape, but the way it was moving. She squinted to see if she could better understand what it was and where it was going, but it didn't help. As she continued to stare into the distance, she didn't understand why this uneasiness was building inside her body. The world will not understand you if you belong to Christ. If you have truly been called, chosen, and set apart, then you must prepare yourself for rejection. You must prepare yourself for slander. You must prepare yourself to walk a road where few will walk with you. Because this world has never embraced the things of God. It has never celebrated true righteousness. It has never welcomed those who stand for truth, and it never will. The chosen are rejected because the chosen do not belong here. The moment God sets his hand upon a man, the world marks him as an enemy. The moment a man begins to walk in the footsteps of Christ, the world begins to turn against him. This is not new. This is not unique to our generation. This is the pattern. This is the reality. From the very beginning, there has always been enmity between those who belong to God and those who do not. Look at Abel. His only crime was offering to God what was pleasing, yet Cain hated him and murdered him for it. Look at Joseph, chosen by God for a purpose, given dreams of what was to come, yet despised by his own brothers and sold into slavery. Look at Moses, raised in the house of Pharaoh, yet rejected by his own people when he sought to deliver them. Look at David, anointed by God, yet pursued by Saul, hunted as if he were a criminal. Look at the prophets, mocked, beaten, imprisoned, and killed because they dared to speak the words of God to a people who did not want to hear. And look at Christ, perfect, sinless, holy, and yet despised, rejected, betrayed, crucified. And you think you will be loved by the world? You think you will be accepted? You think you can follow Christ and be embraced by a world that hates him? No, my friend. If you belong to him, the world will turn against you. Some of you have already felt this. You have lost friends. You have lost opportunities. You have been mocked for your convictions. You have been treated as strange, as extreme, as radical, simply because you refuse to compromise. And you wonder why. You wonder why people who once walked with you no longer want to be around you. You wonder why even those who call themselves Christians look at you with disdain when you take a stand for truth. I will tell you why. Because light has no fellowship with darkness. Because when you walk in the truth, it exposes the lies. When you stand for righteousness, it convicts the unrighteous. And rather than repent, rather than turn, people will hate you for it. They will call you legalistic. They will call you judgmental. They will say you take things too seriously. But the reality is they do not hate you. They hate the one who is in you. The world loves its own, it celebrates its own, it elevates those who conform, those who compromise, those who are willing to bow. But the chosen ones will never fit in. They will never be embraced. They will always be outsiders, always strangers, always aliens in a foreign land. You see, there are many who call themselves Christians, but when the pressure comes, they fold. When the world demands their allegiance, they bow. When persecution arises, they disappear. They want to be accepted. They want to fit in. They want Christ, but they also want the approval of men, and so they make peace with the world. They soften the message. They compromise truth. They remain silent when they should speak, and the world applauds them for it. But that is not the path of the chosen. That is not the road of those whom God has set apart. The chosen ones will be hated. They will be slandered. They will be cast out, and they will stand firm. Some of you are tired. You are weary of the rejection. You are weary of always being the one who doesn't fit. You have watched others compromise, and it seems like their lives are easier. It seems like they have found a way to have both Christ and the world, and you are tempted. You are tempted to soften your convictions. You are tempted to hold back, to remain quiet, to blend in just a little bit more so that you do not always have to be the outcast. But hear me, do not give in. Do not compromise. Do not trade eternal truths for temporary acceptance. The approval of this world is worthless. The praise of men is fleeting, but the call of God, the favor of God, the hand of God upon your life, that is everything. The world will offer you comfort in exchange for your loyalty. It will offer you acceptance in exchange for your silence. It will promise you ease if you will simply lower your standards, if you will simply go along with the crowd. But in the end, it will cost you everything. Look at Demas. He walked with Paul. He labored in ministry. He was a part of the work of God. But what happened? Paul said, Demas has forsaken me, having loved this present world. And how many today are just like him? How many started well, but in the end, they loved the world too much to endure rejection? But look at Paul, beaten, imprisoned, hated. Look at Peter, crucified upside down. Look at John, exiled to Patmos. Look at Stephen, stoned to death. They did not waver. They did not bend. They did not bow to the pressure of the world, and neither should you. You are not alone. Though the world rejects you, though men forsake you, you are not alone. You belong to Christ. He has called you, He has chosen you, and He has promised that those who endure to the end will be saved. So do not fear their rejection. Do not fear their hatred. Do not long for their approval, because in the end, the only words that will matter are the words that come from the mouth of God when He looks at you and says, "Well done, good and faithful servant." It is better to be hated by the world and known by God than to be loved by the world and unknown by Him. If you belong to Christ, your life will not be easy. If God has set you apart, if He has called you for Himself, then you must understand something. You are going to be tested. You are going to be refined. You are going to be led through valleys so dark that you will wonder if God has forsaken you. But hear me, He has not. He never will. The chosen ones are lonely and broken not because they are forgotten, but because they are being shaped, they are being purified, they are being made into vessels fit for the Master's use. And that process is not gentle, it is not comfortable. It is painful and it is costly, but it is necessary. You see, God does not use a man until He has crushed him. He does not send a soldier into battle until He has trained him. He does not entrust a man with great things until He has tested him in the small things. And so He takes His chosen ones and He puts them through the fire. Some of you are in that fire right now. You are walking through trials that you never expected. You are facing battles that you feel unequipped to fight. You are watching as everything around you seems to be falling apart, and you are asking, God, why? But listen to me. He is not destroying you. He is refining you. He is stripping away everything that is not of Him. He is burning away the pride, the self-reliance, the false securities, because as long as those things remain, you cannot fully belong to Him. Look at a piece of gold. It is not valuable in its raw form. It is full of impurities, it is dull, it is mixed with things that lessen its worth, and so it must go into the fire, it must be melted down, it must be purified, and only after that process is complete does it shine with the brilliance that it was meant to have. That is what God is doing in you. He is refining you. He is purifying you. He is removing everything that is not of Him so that only Christ remains. And that is why it hurts. That is why it feels like you are losing everything, because in a way you are. You are losing everything that is not eternal. Some of you have been betrayed by those you loved. Some of you have faced rejection from your own family. Some of you have watched as your dreams crumbled before your eyes, and you think, God, where are you? But I tell you, He is closer than ever. He is not absent in your suffering. He is the one holding you through it. Do you not see? This is the way of the chosen ones. This is the path of those who belong to Him. It has always been this way. It will always be this way. And those who endure, those who press on, those who refuse to turn back, those are the ones who will shine like the stars in eternity. Some of you want to be used by God, but you do not want to be broken by God. You want to see His power, but you do not want to walk through suffering. You want to bear fruit, but you do not want to be pruned, but it does not work that way. The crushing comes before the anointing. The suffering comes before the glory. The breaking comes before the blessing. Jesus Himself walked this path. He was despised and rejected, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. He was betrayed by those closest to Him. He was abandoned in His hour of greatest need. He was falsely accused, mocked, beaten, and crucified. And yet it was through His suffering that redemption came. It was through His breaking that salvation was made possible. And if you are His, do you think your path will be different? Do you think you will escape what He Himself endured? No, my friend. You will walk through suffering. You will face trials. You will carry a cross, but it is not meaningless. It is not wasted. It is producing in you an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. Some of you have prayed, God, use me, and now you wonder why you are suffering. But do you not see this is His answer? This is how He prepares His chosen ones. This is how He makes them ready. Look at Joseph. He had dreams of greatness, but before the throne there was the pit. Before the palace there was the prison. Before the fulfillment there was suffering. Look at David, anointed as king, yet hunted like an animal. Before he wore the crown, he hid in caves. Before he ruled, he suffered. Look at Paul, called by God, yet beaten, imprisoned, shipwrecked, and rejected. Before he could preach the gospel to the nations, he had to be broken. And look at Christ. Before he was exalted, he was crucified. Before the resurrection, there was the cross. Before the victory, there was suffering. This is the pattern. This is the way of the chosen ones. And though it is painful, though it is costly, it is worth it. Because in the end, when the refining is done, when the fire has completed its work, when the suffering has produced its fruit, you will stand not in your own strength, but in His. You will shine not with your own glory, but with His. You will endure, not because you were strong, but because He held you. So do not despise the fire. Do not resist the breaking. Do not turn back when the road becomes difficult, because God is doing something in you that is far greater than you can see. He is making you into something that will bring Him glory for all eternity. And when you stand before Him on that final day, when you see Him face to face, when you hear the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant," you will know it was worth it. It was all worth it.